You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
That's the wine and diner with kings and queens.
You're looking at the man. You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Drew Yari Show. I'm your host Yari. It is Thursday, April the 2nd, 5:01 p.m. I'm fashionably late. How's everyone's day going? My day's been so I'm a little I guess I'm a little disappointed. I wouldn't say disappointed, but like what happened was my girl's brother had lent us a lawnmower, and we were going to I was going to mow the backyard because it desperately needs to be mowed, and it decided to rain today. Which I don't get why it does that. It's like anytime you need to do outdoor work, it conveniently decides to rain. That just pisses me off. But it's San Antonio weather. It's going to be hot as hell for like 2 or 3 days straight. And then out of nowhere, it's just gonna start raining for literally no reason. So, I mean, this past month hasn't really made any sense. This past month has just been crazy in general. What's going on, Sean? Not much, man. I'm just starting up this show. It's gonna be a kind of a short show. I just want to say I'm sorry for the mix-up yesterday. Joe Numbers was on my show, but he was on my other show, which is Yari Extra. The reason why I did it on that show was, A, that one's pre-recorded, it's not live, and B, the show is always on Thursdays. The live show is always on Thursdays, so I just didn't want to confuse anyone. I guess I kind of did, but sorry for the confusion, people. But yeah, the episode with Joe is already out. Just like an FYI, the audio for some reason came out kind of weird. Like, for some reason you hear me, but I'm like really loud, and you hear noise in the background. That was actually my dryer. And for some reason Joe's kind of low, and that kind of has something to do with me because on the Spreaker app, whenever I was recording him and myself, I turned his volume down a little bit. Because in my head, I was thinking, I might just want to turn the volume down just a little bit because I think it might come out bad. And I was very wrong, by the way. So I spent a good 30, 40 minutes just sitting there fixing the audio for me and him to just make it sound decent and somewhat listenable. So I don't know if you listened to the episode yet, Sean. If you did, tell me what you think. If it sounds decent, but yeah, the episode's out. Yeah, it's on Spreaker if you want to listen to it. The hell? Okay, tweets. Barrett Corbin, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, the episode's out. Joe's off one. It was weird because we barely talked about wrestling. We talked a lot about politics. It was more Joe getting the ball rolling, talking about politics, talking about coronavirus, mentioning Trump a little bit. And I always say that I don't really like to talk about Trump. Yeah, my day's going okay. It's been so-so. It's been raining. I mean, didn't go anywhere. It's not like we could go anywhere, but see, I'm going to Walmart after this to see if there's any toilet paper I can get, or I need some work shirts, but Joe has the gift of gab. When he gets the ball rolling, he gets the ball rolling. So he's a lot of fun to talk to. I love Joe. Hopefully I can have him back on again, and hopefully the audio doesn't come out screwy. But yeah, like I said, check that out. Tell me what you guys think. I'm always very welcoming to opinions. as far as, what the opinions on the show, opinions about myself, what you would like to hear a lot more, and what you think I can improve on. And, if you want to tell me I suck and that I should never be a podcaster again, please tell me that. I'm just playing. Don't tell me that. Tell me nice things, even if you're lying. Just tell me nice things. But yeah, it's gonna be kind of a short show today. There's really not much to talk about. I heard the ratings came out for AEW and NXT, and AEW won again, but apparently it was a record low. I didn't watch NXT. At this point, it's kind of hard to watch NXT and AEW now because I guess the shallowness of how I think is like, I want to watch a wrestling show where there's actually fans in attendance. So eventually I will watch the episodes. I just didn't get a chance to watch them. So I guess what we can talk about is WrestleMania weekend. As everyone knows, both shows are going to be split up into 2 nights. I don't know if they're going to make any announcements because I don't even think they've made it official on their shows that Roman Reigns isn't going to be in WrestleMania. And then he's been replaced by Braun. I'm not sure if they have. As far as I know, I think they're still promoting the fact that it's going to be Roman and Goldberg, which I find odd. But yeah, let's just pull up the match card. Let's see. So there's 16 matches. They haven't announced. To my knowledge, they haven't announced what night these matches are going to air on. But I guess let's just go in order. Let's just go from 16 to 1. So you got Otis versus Dolph Ziggler with Mandy Rose in a singles match. I'm going to be saying this a lot about all these matches. A lot of these matches seem like they would have been better in front of a crowd because Otis is so well liked by the audience. He has that babyface sympathy by the audience because they look at him as like, he almost had the love of his life, and Dolph Ziggler comes in and snakes her away from him. So I'm pretty sure it's going to come out that Tucker had something to do with it. But this is actually Dolph Ziggler's first ever singles Mania match. A lot of his matches have been tag matches, but I have a feeling Dolph might win, just because they like to fuck with the fans. They don't want to give the fans what they want, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be Dolph. I would like it to be Otis, but if Otis wins, it'd be a lot better if it was in front of a crowd. Supposedly, they want to do a thing where they have fans reacting to Mania. Kind of like, when you go on YouTube and you see such and such reacts to the trailer for so-and-so. Which I watch those a lot. I like those, I'm not going to lie. Or what is it, the Fine Brothers channels where it's elders react to Slipknot. So, for WWE, I don't know who they're going to find. It's obviously... I wouldn't put it past them if it's actors. If it's people that's on their payroll. Or if they're people that they're paying to say, like this shit. Or react to it. You know what I mean? But, again, I'd like it to be Otis, but I have a feeling it's going to be Dolph. And then next match, you got the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kari versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. A moment of piss, like DT would say. For the Women's Tag Team Championships, keep those fucking titles on Asuka and Kari. Do not give them back to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Under no circumstances do you give them to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Asuka looks like she's having fun. It's weird because she kind of almost seemed like she was in a hole with the company, and now it just seems like she's just having fun. Like she doesn't care anymore. So, good for her. But keep those titles on the Kabuki Warriors. Do not take them off at all. And then you got singles match for the Intercontinental Championship. You got Sami Zayn with Cesaro and Shinsuke versus Daniel Bryan with Drew Gulak. On paper, this should be a match of the night, but two factors come into play. One, there's no fans that are going to be able to react to it. And two, they haven't really been utilizing Sami Zayn as a serious wrestler. He's been a manager. He's been more of a comedic relief guy. On paper, about maybe 3 years ago, this would have been a great match. This would have been match of the night easily. But I mean, you never know. Maybe they'll actually let Sami Zayn go out there and actually go. But I doubt it. They want to keep him in this role. But since they just gave it to Sami, I guess keep it on him. Next match, you got Edge and Randy Orton in a last man standing. So I know a lot of these matches are being filmed as we speak. So Edge and Randy Orton, are they going to wrestle in an empty arena, or is it going to be like somewhere in the streets of Orlando? This should be a good match because, I mean, it's not going to be a match, but it's just going to be like a fight. It's basically going to be a street fight until somebody doesn't answer the count. So, yeah, this match has been probably the only match that's been better pushed or properly pushed. You got Edge, who hasn't wrestled a match in 8 years. And then you got, or 9 years, I guess. Then you got Randy, who, by all accounts and purposes, we always say the thing about Randy, when he wants to go, he'll go. He seems like he's very invested in this feud. I mean, granted, he's working with his friend. He's working with Edge, a guy he has history with. He's doing some good, some pretty damn good promo work. Probably the best promo work I've actually heard him cut in his career, honestly. Edge is cutting some pretty good promos. I don't know how they're going to push this, though. I don't know where this is going to be. I mean, it'd be a lot interesting if it was like in the streets. Like, if they started out in the ring and then they end up outside of the building. Like, that would be pretty interesting. So, who do you give this to? You give it to Edge. Edge hasn't, this is his WrestleMania moment. He hasn't wrestled in a ring for 9 years. So, give him this match. Give him this win. Next match, you got Elias versus King Corbin, which that's up in the air because Elias is quote-unquote hurt. And I don't know anyone who wants to see this match. I don't know it. I don't care. Next match, you got Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. Isn't Bobby Lashley supposedly has coronavirus and he can't come in? That's the last I heard, is that he's one of the superstars that has coronavirus. Give Black this match. Bobby doesn't need this match. Bobby doesn't need anything. Bobby needs to not be in this company anymore. You just give it to Black. Black needs to swing a lot more. So, next match, you got the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory, who replaced Almas, who had to stay home. And it's for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I'd say keep it on the Profits because they barely just won the titles. You don't want to just give it to Theory and Garza. I mean, they are a tag team that are literally just thrown together. Granted, it was supposed to be Almas and Garza, which would have been interesting to see them as championships. You don't want to just put the titles on someone that had to replace another guy in a tag team. It would just be weird. I mean, of all the people, why Austin Theory, though? I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they like him. Maybe they see something in him. But keep it on the Profits. I guess until Almas gets back. Next match is a triple threat ladder match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. You got Miz and John Morrison, who are the champs, versus the New Day, Big E and Kofi Kingston versus the Usos. Another question, wasn't the Miz sick? Like, it wasn't The Miz apparently not going to show up because he was sick. But, again, you're going to do a ladder match in front of an empty arena. Ugh. I'm sorry, I know it sounds like I'm being, like, very depressing about these reviews, but it's just like, you're going to have a ladder match in front of an empty arena. Like, that's a match that needs a crowd. I mean, all these matches need a crowd, obviously, but a ladder match is definitely a match that needs a crowd, because this seems like it could have been, again, another match of the year candidate or a match of the night candidate, because you have 3 good teams. And I don't know. I mean, I'm going to try and go by what Kevin Castle said, which is I'm just gonna try and be optimistic. Maybe this could be interesting. Maybe this could be a good WrestleMania. Who knows? And DT said the same thing as well. Shout out to DT. He gave me a nice little burn yesterday, so I'll get you back, DT. Next, you have Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. What didn't this have a stipulation? I distinctly remember either Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens saying, "There's a stipulation." Like, Corbin, Kenter, am I far off? Like, wasn't there supposed to be a stipulation of some sort? Like, either not that I recall. I don't know. I seem to remember one of them saying that there was going to be a stipulation, but between the two, I guess, Kevin Owens. I don't think Seth needs this win, but I think Kevin Owens needs a lot more. All right, next match, you got Undertaker versus AJ in a boneyard match, which I guess is just a cemetery match, or they want to call it a boneyard match. Which I don't know why they can't just say cemetery match, but whatever. Undertaker cutting a promo on Raw recently, or this past Monday, pretty much as the American Badass. I mean, he wasn't talking slow and saying things about death and caskets and souls. He was talking more like the American Badass, which I liked. I know a lot of people weren't a fan of the American Badass. I was. I liked the American Badass. It made him a lot more animated, which I liked. You got to see a different side of the Undertaker. At times, he could be comical. But, anyways, I like the American Badass. Yeah, again, this is another... Yeah, this isn't going to be in a ring. This is going to be pre-recorded somewhere. It looks like it has the potential to be something. So, I'm just going to be optimistic. Who do you give this to? I mean, I guess they're going to give it to Taker. But, again, Taker doesn't need a win. At this point, he doesn't need a win. When Brock broke the streak a long time ago, it pretty much just proved Taker doesn't really need any more wins. I mean, if you want to give it to him, that's cool. But AJ needs this win a lot more than Taker, in my opinion. But since this is a boneyard match, I guess Taker's going to win. So you got the next match, which is Bayley versus Lacey Evans versus Naomi versus Sasha Banks versus Tamina for the SmackDown Women's Championship. 5-way match. Yeah, this is a match that definitely does not need a crowd. Oh, man. Bayley's going to win. Keep it on Bayley. How this match ends is going to come down to Bayley and Sasha, and Bayley's going to win. Or, you know what? It's going to come down to Bayley and Sasha and somebody else. And Sasha's going to end up eating the pin, and then Bayley's going to end up winning, and that's how you start the feud with Bayley and Sasha, because Sasha's going to be like, why don't you have my back out there? I was getting pinned. Why don't you break up the pin? And then Bayley can be like, well, I didn't see you getting pinned. I'm sorry. Or I couldn't get up, or I was hurt, or blah, blah, blah. So keep it on Bayley. Next match, you have Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's Championship. This is a match that could have benefited from maybe being a submission match or some type of brawling match. Take the belt off of Becky already. Like, the Becky Man era is done, in my opinion. It's kind of cringeworthy to watch. And the thing is, I like Becky, but they're not pushing her right. They're trying to push her as this, leather jacket, motorcycle riding badass, which she's not. And the crowd can already see through it. The fans can see through it. And now podcasters are finally calling her out, calling her bluff. And it's just not working. It's full of shit, and we're tired of it. So, take the belt off of Becky. We are done with Becky. Put on Shayna. Shayna's the future. Alright, and next match, you got Goldberg versus... It still says Roman Reigns, but they announced it was going to be Braun. So I'm assuming they're going to announce Braun tomorrow on SmackDown. Goldberg versus Braun. I can't imagine them asking Goldberg to keep the title for a lot longer. I don't know. I don't see them putting it on Braun, because I think the company's kind of done with Braun as far as like pushing him as a main event guy. But then again, they decided to replace him with replace Roman with him. So I don't know what they're gonna do. There's a lot of uncertainty in this Mania. I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, it'd be shocking if they put it on Braun, because I can't see Goldberg trying to lift him up for a jackhammer. I mean, obviously if he's gonna beat him, he's gonna beat him with a spear. But I don't know. It's a combination of I don't know and I don't really care. But I think I just missed a match. I missed Cena and Fiend. I'll get back to that. But Braun versus Goldberg. Oof. Uncertainty? As in, I don't really care about this match. I don't know. I guess keep it on Goldberg, because I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to ask him to stay a little longer, so they can have their match with Braun, or so they can have their match with Roman, or maybe they want to reignite that feud with Braun and Roman at SummerSlam. I don't know. Usually at these Manias, they like to start these title reigns and put over people during the summer to see how that works, and then by SummerSlam or in the fall, that's when they take that title off. So I don't know. It'd be interesting if it was Braun and they just have him keep that title for the summer, and then they have Roman come in at SummerSlam and take the title off. So I don't know what they're gonna do. So I'm just gonna keep it at that. Undecided. That's my prediction. Undecided as a result of not caring. So going back, John Cena versus the Fiend Bray Wyatt in a Firefly Funhouse match, which I'm assuming is going to be like the House of Horrors match that was like 3 years ago between Bray and Randy Orton. I mean, I guess since it's a Firefly Funhouse match, you give it to Fiend. I would imagine at this time, Cena just is coming back to put over people. I mean, when's the last time you really saw him get a big win? And it's not that... I don't really think he cares anymore. I mean, when they asked him, hey, can you put over this guy? He's like, yeah, sure. These wins don't mean shit to Cena anymore. Cena's done it already. He's main evented his Manias. He's been champion. He's beat everyone he's needed to beat. Just put over Bray. I mean, he should have put him over 6 years ago, but he didn't. And now it's kind of his chance to do the right thing. So yeah, just put him over. All right, going back. You got Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. I mean, you put it on Drew. I did like that vignette that they showed where I guess it's like his own like Rocky training montage in Ireland or Scotland. Put it on Drew, but it's going to be tough because him winning the Rumble was big. Like, people were actually happy to see him win. And there's going to be no fans at Mania. If he wins, is it really going to mean anything? It's going to mean something for him. But I don't know. And I like Drew. It's gonna be kind of hard for him because it's gonna be like, how do you celebrate and pose when there's nobody there? But put it on Drew. Brock doesn't need this. But again, you can never underestimate how much this company loves Brock. Just saying. Another match that. The last match that's on the card here that needs fanfare is Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte for the NXT Women's Championship. I was saying Rhea needs a win. The only way this match is going to be enjoyable is if Rhea wins. Charlotte does not need to win this match. Charlotte doesn't need to be NXT champion. She does not need to be NXT champion. She's already been NXT champion. Rhea needs this win a lot more to show why she's in the spot that she's in. To show why she is... To show why she's a badass. She needs to solidify... she needs this win to solidify herself. If she can beat Charlotte, which, Charlotte is pretty much, Roman Charlotte or Charlotte H, and my headphones popped out. I'm sorry about that. This win could really be a shot in the arm for her. Like, this win is something that could get her over with the main audience. And it could also be something to, for the audience to invest in NXT a lot more. You know what I mean? Those are my NXT. I mean, not NXT. Those are my choices for Mania. As far as like who they put on each night, there's 16 matches. Jesus, so I would imagine they would put 8 matches per night. Who would be the main event on each night? That's the thing. Edge versus Orton should be the main event for at least one of those nights. And as far as the other main event, make it McIntyre and Brock. Have Brock and Drew be the main event for one night, and then for the next night you have Edge and Orton. Like, those are the only 2 matches I think have been pushed a lot better than everything else. Oh man, my leg is killing me. Give me 1 second. Alright, so those are my Mania predictions. For the first time in a long time, I am not off on WrestleMania weekend. Usually I always ask for the weekend off at Mania. This time I'm not. I will watch it. Whatever happens, I will watch it. But I will watch it. Will I review it? I don't know. I'll try and do something, guys. But so what else can we talk about? Did you guys watch the New Jack documentary for Dark Side of the Ring? I did watch it. I watched it after I got home from work. I just saw the video for it on YouTube. And it is whatever. It's everything you thought it'd be a little bit more. And it's weird because it was really short. Like, a lot of these episodes they do are very short. The Benoit thing made sense why they had to make that a 2-parter. I think they're going to make the Owen Hart episode a 2-parter, if I'm not mistaken. New Jack could have been a 2-parter, easily. Like, there was a lot about New Jack that you could have told. There were so many stories. 'Cause it felt like a lot. They just wanted to focus more on his incidents. and just breeze through everything else. Like, there are so many stories you could have told. Don Tony, knows New Jack, like, pretty well. So I'm surprised they didn't get in touch with Don Tony. I mean, maybe they did. I don't know. That's something I think I want to ask them about that, if they ever did get in touch with them. A lot of the incidents, I feel like I was the only one on this. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. But a lot of his incidents seem like they're kind of justified. And not to say that I condone the violence, not to say I condone what he did, but it's just like, why would you try and piss this guy off? Because at all counts and purposes, New Jack comes across as a very nice guy. Comes across as someone who's very easy and chill to be around. He seems very charming. Seems like he's fun. He's a funny guy. By the way, like, I see a lot of his interviews. He's very funny. The way he explains it is very funny. He just seems like someone who's very just easy to be around, but you just don't piss him off. Don't disrespect him. Don't disrespect people who's around. Just don't disrespect him. And if he does that, he will not stop until... It's kind of like the Terminator. If you look at it in a way, it's like, he can't be reasoned, he can't be bargained with, he will not stop unless you're dead. And he didn't kill anybody, he just, like, beat the shit out of them, but... It's like with the mass transit incident where the guy comes up to New Jack and just, like, says, I want to do A, B, C, D, and New Jack takes that as kind of disrespect. It's like, you don't talk to a veteran that way. You don't tell him what you want to do. You follow the veteran's lead. And the Sandman is just laughing about it. He's like, that's why you stabbed him? I kind of wish there were more people on the panel, though, as far as, like, ECW legends. It's weird because Tommy Dreamer hosted the after show, but he wasn't on the actual show. And that's pretty odd. Mustafa wasn't in it. Or maybe he just couldn't be in it. But, yeah, they talk about... They basically begin his career on who he got trained by. And I forget the name. His trainer told him something that was kind of interesting. Saying, create something that you've never seen before. Which that's kind of a mindfuck if you look at it. Even New Jack was like, he said something that, fucked with my head to this day. So he showed up in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, by the way, of Jim Cornette. I'm forgetting if he showed up with Mustafa or if he was already, like, if he was by himself at first or he showed up with Mustafa. And Jim Cornette would literally tell him, go out there and say something that's going to piss off white people. And he did. He would go out there and just, like, shit talk them. Because Smoky Mountain Wrestling was in the South. And in the South, if you're a black guy, it's not going to work out for you. He tells a story how this little kid ran up to him and, shook his hand. And then he pulled up his sleeve. And New Jack was like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, my daddy told me, if I shake your hand, it's going to rub off on me. Which... that's pretty rough. He talks about his relationship with Mustafa. Mustafa was kind of a nut job. How the guy literally smoked pencil shavings. And, D'Lo Brown was a part of it because D'Lo was a part of the Gangstas. And when they asked D'Lo Brown about, do Mustafa really, smoke shavings, he just kind of laughs and goes, I plead the fifth. And there was stuff in it that D'Lo Brown didn't even know. Like, kind of the, fast forward to the end. He wrestles a wrestler on the independent scene named, I think his name was Hunter Red. And during that match, he stabbed him during the match. And how that was built up was that this guy, Hunter Red, goes up to New Jack, again, to try and provoke him, saying, hey, can we talk about the match? And New Jack was like, let's talk about it in the back. And he's like, no, let's talk about it now. And he's just being, like, really... He's basically disrespecting New Jack, not knowing who the fuck this guy is. So New Jack was saying he had these Wolverine claws, and one of the claws broke off. So during the match, Jack takes out something from his pocket and starts stabbing this Hunter Red during the match. he ends up going to jail for a bit. And then Hunter Red, visits him in jail and says, hey, I'll get you out of jail if, you make this into a storyline with me, saying, I'm looking for New Jack, I'm going to find him. And New Jack gets out of jail and he just decides to just leave. I think he retired, if I'm not mistaken. There was the Gypsy Joe incident, which that was kind of that was rough to watch. He just literally starts hitting him in the head with a barbed wire baseball bat. Like, Jesus. It's weird because a lot of these stories is just New Jack. He literally is saying in a lot of these stories, I stabbed this guy. I was high as hell. Like it's weird because I'm laughing at it, and I even told Joe, I'm like, I'm laughing at a lot of these stories, and it feels like I'm not supposed to be laughing. Like, I don't know if I should be laughing at this. And the episode just ends very abruptly. I don't know, I wish like I said, I wish it would have went a little longer, at least an hour and a half. Like, a guy like New Jack, there's so many stories you can tell. And there's so many stories he can tell. And they asked him if there's any times he felt like he went a little bit too far. And he, said, he just kind of chuckled. He's like, yeah, I think the Gypsy Joe incident was a little too far. Jim Cornette, had said the reason why WWE never wanted to sign him was because he was too controversial. They were afraid he was going to hurt somebody. They didn't want lawsuits, so they just stayed away from him. I don't know if anyone knows the story. You can check it on YouTube. New Jack told the story of how he had a WWE tryout back in like 07, 08, and he was supposed to have a dark match with somebody, I'm forgetting. Story he tells is that he ran into Dean Malenko, who at the time was an agent for the WWE. And Dean Malenko told him, whatever you do, don't talk to Vince. Don't say hi to Vince, don't shake his hand, don't do anything. Just walk past him. And, if you tell New Jack not to do something, what's he going to do? So he sees Vince McMahon, he shakes his hand and says, hey, New Jack, thank you for the opportunity, A, B, C, and D. So, minutes later, he sees that his name is wiped off the board for matches. So then he asks John Laurinaitis, just tell me what you don't want me to do and I won't do it. And John Laurinaitis said, we'll look into it, we're going to pay you so you can head home. So they forgot to add that, which I thought was kind of, but overall good documentary. But again, I just wish it was longer. I wish a lot of these episodes were a little bit longer. The episodes coming up next week is going to be the Brawl for All, which that should be interesting. I wouldn't think that they would pick a lot of these topics if they didn't have some interesting points to them. Because when I saw Brawl for All, I'm like, Brawl for All? How's that dark? You're going to find out why. I kind of vaguely remember the Brawl for All, like very vaguely. I just remember, I think Bradshaw just got his ass beat in a fight. Bradshaw tries to build himself up as like, I'm tough, and then he got his ass beat. Then again, he got punched up by Joey Styles, so that kind of shows who he is. I mean, the one obviously I'm waiting for the most is the Owen Hart one, because this is the first time you'll get to see Martha Hart on television. It's the first time she's actually talked about it. And that's going to be the season finale, which is, kind of a dick move, but I guess it makes sense. You want a strong start, you also want a strong finish. You start out strong with the Benoit thing, and you're strong with Owen. I don't know if that's going to be a two-parter. Any of you guys, Barrett, Sean, do you guys know if that's going to be a two-parter? The Owen Hart one? I guess I'll have to look that up. I think it's going to be a two-parter. It should be a two-parter. If it's like an hour, under an hour, I might be a little disappointed. That should be a two-parter. The Jimmy Snuka one should be really revealing. Like, that's going to be dark as fuck. With the Nancy Argentina. That will be pretty fucking dark to watch. The Road Warriors one should be interesting. From what heard, listening to, the creators of the show and Cornette's podcast, that one's going to be pretty emotional because you're going to have a lot of wrestlers on it. And not just wrestlers, but people who knew, who was the other guy? Hawk. There you go. People who knew Hawk well, and they said he was just a good-hearted dude. It's going to be pretty emotional to watch. Then you got Herb Abrams, which, again, I literally have no clue who that is. I never even heard of him. But, again, I'll learn something. What other episodes are on? I'm going to have to look up the episodes if I get... I was looking them up. Dark Side of the Ring, Season 2.
The first two are Jimmy Snuka and the death of Nancy Argentino and the Brawl for All. I have 8 answers in total.
Yeah, I'm good on that. So, episodes. All right, Season 2. We got Brawl for All next week, and the week after that is Jimmy Snuka. The week after that is Dino Bravo. Then you got David Schultz, which that should be interesting. Herb Abrams, Road Warriors, and then Owen Hart. So I guess that's not going to be a 2-parter, Owen Hart. It's kind of a boo. But yeah. Overall, this season, it's shaping up to be pretty big. The Benoit thing, I wouldn't be surprised if they got some nomination. If they sent that out for like a nomination for an Emmy or a Golden Globe. I mean, maybe not Golden Globe, but an Emmy. And that deserves an Emmy nomination of some sort. But what else can we talk about? It's kind of a slow news week. Any video gamers here? Any gamers? Any Last of Us fans? They postponed the release of Last of Us 2, which was supposed to come out in May 29th. Yeah, that legit kind of upset me because I love the first game. And it's weird because the game came out like 7 years ago. And it feels like it came out not even that long ago. So the reason why I even bought a PS4 in the first place was so I can play Last of Us, because Last of Us is only, is a Sony game. It's PS4 exclusive. So played the shit out of it, loved it. It was a beautiful game. It's one of those games that make you cry when you play it because it's so emotional. It's about a zombie apocalypse, which, original. But instead of Walking Dead, where it's like so many people, this is about just 2 people. This is about the relationship with 2 people. With a man, Joel, who lost his daughter in the beginning of the game, which that's emotional when you watch it. Spoilers. And then he meets up with Ellie, who's... They don't really give too much of her history away. They don't really talk about her family or anything like that. But she meets up with Joel, and in the beginning they don't like each other at all. But, towards the end they form a bond. They become very close. Where it's not. I don't think it's so much a father-daughter relationship. It's kind of like they're just friends. They're very close, personal friends, and it's not like a fucking thing because Ellie's like 14, which that would just be disturbing. But but they rely on each other. They're close friends. I think it's more like a big brother, little sister relationship. If I really had to guess, that's the vibe I got from it. But Joel sees Ellie as his daughter because, spoilers, his daughter dies in the beginning of the game, and he sees Ellie as like, that this is my daughter. I can save her. I can save her this time. And Ellie is immune. Like she got bit, but she's somehow immune to it. Like she doesn't turn. The zombies in this game are different because there's 2 different types of zombies. There's infected, which they're still human, but they're already slowly morphing into zombies. And then there's clickers, which clickers are basically, I guess, the final form of what these zombies are supposed to look like. And they literally look like fucking aliens. Their heads are just, they're not even heads anymore. They're like imploded from the inside and they somehow exploded on the outside. And those you actually need at least like a shotgun, to fucking kill them. A shotgun or a melee weapon. As soon as, if they get even like 6 inches in front of you, you're dead. There's no way you're going to do it. In fact, you can just beat the shit out of them with your bare hands. And they're already doing a TV series on it, which I'm stoked about. Because there was the longest time they were going to do a movie, which I'm just like, I don't know if I want to see a movie, honestly. I would rather see a TV show, because if anyone's ever played the game or just watched the walkthroughs, there's so many stories and there's so many characters you can talk about in 8 episodes or 10 episodes. With a movie, I don't know if you'd be able to jam that much into 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I wouldn't like it, because I have a feeling that they would maybe skim over a lot of characters and a lot of important details. Because in this game, each character and each detail, they mean something to the game and to the characters. They all somehow are a way of evolving both characters, Ellie and Joel, and helping them get to that next level. Figuratively and literally. But the game ends, I don't know if I should spoil the ending, but it has that ending where you're not sure if you hate or if you understand what Joel did. It's a combination of, like, you understand why he had to do what he did, but you still kind of hate him for it. Like, it just has one of those endings where you're like, you're not sure if he made the right decision. But part 2 was, I'm not sure how long in the future it's set, but Ellie's already grown. She's already a grown-ass woman, and she's, I guess, a lesbian. She has a girlfriend in the show, or not the show, but in the game, and she's even more of a fucking badass. And it looked fucking good. I think this is the second time they delayed it, because I think it was supposed to come out last year. Because I remember, no, I can't join. Damn you, Seuss, what have you done to me? What are you talking about, did you? Just jump in. It looks so good. I don't know. I remember just jumping. Oh, whatever. Did you can't join for some reason? But I remember the trailer came out whenever they were having their E3 thing. This was like 2 years ago. And they showed like this really beautiful long featurette. And they're like, okay, the game's going to come out next year. And then I'm like, all right, cool. And then they had to push it back. I was already ready to pre-order the damn thing. And now they have to push it back, which... I had this, I was talking with Joe about the coronavirus thing. It's like, I understand, I fully understand, I support it, why certain businesses have to close down, why movie theaters have to close down, why they have to push back releases of movies, which, movies, never mind, I get movies. Video games, you can just easily, why don't you just release them digitally? I mean, isn't really that what everyone's doing nowadays? Aren't they just installing the games on the store? Like, if you have an Xbox One, aren't you just, like, downloading the games on the store? Or, like a Switch, PS4, like, why can't you just release them digitally? I don't get it. But it's very disheartening. The times we're living in are very disheartening because you want to go out and you just want to have fun, but, you want to make sure you're able to, I guess, you want to be able to live to see summer. I know it sounds kind of dark, but, unfortunately it's true. Every day you're hearing a new case of somebody just died with coronavirus. So my mom told me her neighbor has coronavirus, and I just, she's doing the mom thing of make sure you wipe down your hands regardless of what you do. Make sure you take off your clothes anytime you come home from work, wash them, and that's what I'm doing, by the way. I texted my mom and dad, just whatever you do, just don't stay away from everybody. Just stay in your house, wear gloves, wear face masks, whatever. Order takeout. Don't go anywhere for anything unless you have to get gas. My dad's retired, so he doesn't really work. My mom is on the brink of retiring because she had to get surgery in her hand again, and she just got like a really good paying job, like really, really good paying, and now she has to retire. So when you hear that, I mean, my eyes were already open to this pandemic, but hearing now that your parents are possibly close to this disease, it kind of just makes you look at everything differently. It makes you just go, I gotta be more careful. I gotta make sure I wash my hands. I gotta make sure I do A, B, C, and D right. And it just freaked me out. It freaked me out because I'm thinking about my mom. I'm like, oh, I just hope she's okay. I'm thinking about my dad, I hope he's okay. I'm thinking about my brother, I hope he's okay. I don't really give a fuck about my sisters, but I hope they don't get it, but I don't care. But I'm playing. But that's pretty much the end of the show. There really wasn't anything we would talk about. Tried to keep it under an hour. So, I mean, I guess to kill time for the next 8 minutes. Any questions? Thanks, Sean. If you got any questions? We can kill time for the next 8 minutes. Any questions? Anything? Nah, was nice listening. Okay, I get you. What about you, Barrett? Any questions? Anything you would like me to talk about for a little bit? Okay, I understand, Barrett. Did you any questions? Well, he's not on, so he can't hear me. But okay, I guess I'll just no questions. All right. I guess I'll just do some shout outs on this end of the show. So, shout outs to Wrestling Soup. Shout outs to Joey Numbers, who was on the show last night. Great dude. Mish, great dude. John Draper, man, you guys checking on John Draper. Say hi to him. Ask him how he's doing. He's going through a rough patch right now. I don't want to put his business out there. I'm just going to leave it at that. Support the Soup. They're about to be on in half an hour. So go to their Patreon. Just for $5, you can get great shit. Original content. The Soup. Doing the Lord's work. Doing a show every day for this pandemic, for quarantine. So, these guys, they're the best. They're the best at what they do, and what they do isn't very nice. Then you got DTKC, Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle, which you can catch you can catch the main show every night after Raw, and also head to their Patreon. DT has Breakfast Soup with Mish from Soup. He also has blah blah blah. And he does I don't know if he does blah 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 anymore. He does Wednesday Night Dynamite, which is him just reviewing AEW and NXT. The hell, there's a hair on my mouth. And he does a SmackDown review with either Mish or he's by himself. And also, Kevin Castle, he has 2 shows. He has not Dark Chronicles. He has Castle Chronicles, which is a solo show. And he has a show he does called KNT Chronicles with our good friend Trez. Shout out to Trez. Been meaning to get her back on the show for the longest time. Maybe I can get her back on next week. I don't know, on the Yari Extra show. So, and you got Texas Podcast Massacre. If you're a horror fan, you're going to enjoy the show. I've been on there 3 times. So Check them out. They review horror movies of old and new, even bad horror movies, which I think those are the more entertaining ones. Who else? You got Trademark, Tyler the Trademark with his show, The Trademark Show. Then you got Wrestling Court with Julian and Rob. I was on there, I think last week. Last week I was. Who else? So many shows. Nuclear Hate Graphics with Shaheen. Shaheen's made 2 logos for the show. Shaheen is the best at what he does. If you need logo art for a podcast you're doing, or a YouTube channel, or a band, or anything, get in contact with Shaheen. The dude's all over social media. You can find him on Instagram. You can find him on Facebook, Twitter. The dude is good. It's pricey, but the dude is fucking good. It's pricey because he's fucking good. It's like in The Dark Knight. If you're good at something, you never do it for free. Yuck Nasty and Dogger Baby again in the corner. I currently have Yuck Nasty in the studio making a new theme for this show as we speak. So look out for that in the near future. For some reason, I can't play music on here live. I would have to hold it up to the actual mic. So I'm gonna have to ask Mish how to play it while I'm doing the show. Let's see. And Yuck Nasty again. You need music done for your podcast, your YouTube channel. If you're an artist, you need some music done. Get in contact with Yuck Nasty. You can find him on Twitter. And then who else? False Scout Radio with Andrew Carlick. You got B Show Brian for his 2 podcasts. He has a horror podcast and he has the B Show. Love to have him back on pretty soon. And oh man, if I'm forgetting anyone, I'm sorry. Pretty much listen to everybody. Listen to everybody's podcasts. If you're a fan of something, there's going to be a podcast of it. So if you're a fan of pottery, there's a podcast on pottery. So just look out for that. But for me, Twitter, Drew Yari Show, Instagram, Drew Yari Show, Facebook, Drew Yari Show. I have a YouTube channel as well if you want to listen to the shows on there. I also stream video games. I'm currently finishing up the Uncharted series. I was trying to finish up as quickly as I can so I can start Last of Us 2, but that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So I guess after Uncharted, I'll just get started on God of War. So look out for that. And I pretty much stream every day. Especially on my days off. I stream as much as I can. On days of work, I don't really stream as much. But go on my YouTube channel and check those out. I will be back next week. I will try and do an extra show. So you guys will be the first one to know. But thank you to everybody that showed up. Thank you, Barrett. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Daju, who showed up for a bit. And at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, Wrestling Soup will start. If you have their Discord, if they're on, if you have Mixler, look out for that show. Thank you, Sean. And take care, Barrett. And this show will be uploaded ASAP. So peace out.